Welcome back. Glad you are still with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. I am Jane Wamboy, and we want to just continue with this Valentine's conversation we are having here in studio. What are your expectations come Valentine's Day this Sunday? Hashtag me Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Channel 1, at Raymond Nyara, at Doreen Rangi, and at Jane Wamboy is how you can get to interact with us. So tumeketi pia sisi wanawake. Tumesikiza what the gents had to say na tunataka kurespond.
We must.
Yeah. So I still have Nambuya and Wangari on this side of things. I want to systematically address the issues that have been raised by our gents on the other side. Number one, according to their constitution, they refer to the women as the other gender. How does that make you feel as a woman? Wangari?
I'm like, excuse me? I'm a woman. A lady, not that other gender.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Period. Nambuya.
Well, I do not understand why they want to use, they insist on using the other gender. It's as if they are being in denial. They are in denial of what they are inherently attracted to. The gender they cannot live without. I'm talking about heterosexual, where they cannot live without. So it is pure denial. They are in denial. That is where they're trying to fight it as much as they are. And we are sorry, we remain to be women, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number two, they said that according to the Constitution, men are allowed to be stingy. The Stingy Men Association, it's a choice to be stingy. Nambuya.
Okay. Byron, the economist, said that the association does not exist.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. And Byron Nyakoi, I feel like you are being delusional. Facts on the ground are that dating is a chancy business. So you must go into it, or marriage or whatever, any association, relationship, man, woman, man, whichever. You must know that it's chancy you will spend on the ground.
Like it or not.
As in, they can say whatever the hell they want to say with the Stingy Men Association. It's made up. There's nothing like that. We know on the ground he has to spend. Every man has to spend. A woman has to spend. So if you're entering into any relationship,
yes,
and you're going into it with the Stingy Men Association mindset, my dear, we are sorry, utalia.
Utalia. Let me come to you, Wangari. Another aspect walisema ni for the men aged between 18 and 35, they are allowed to be stingy because they're still figuring themselves out. Then after that, you're free to spend as you want. I want to link that with this message I received from Aileen saying, 18 to 35, ni sawa, tutakana masponyo.
Okay, now this is where they say that you can be 18 and be a man, and you can be 36 and be a boy. So I don't think because you're in the age bracket of 18 to 35, that gives you the right not to actually step up to your responsibilities as a man in the name of Stingy Men Association.
Complaining about the financial aspect sana. Age bracket, is it okay for them to be stingy with their money, especially when it comes to spending on their ladies they claim to love?
Nothing gives any man any right to be stingy on your woman. And you know, okay, I need a man to explain this theory to me. So you want us to be equals in everything, the spendings, the bills, the giving and all that. But now, when it comes to now respect, you want me to give you more respect. Hello? If you want me to give you more respect, then you have to be a step ahead of me as a man. And you cannot do that by being stingy.
Okay. So does that intertwine with this traditional responsibility of a man? Provision is not something that we are going to negotiate with, to have two ways to it.
If as a man you're not providing, what are you doing?
Now, where do you have a rejoinder to that?
I agree.
100.
I just agree.
All right. Now, another thing that the gentleman did mention is this whole aspect of ladies competing to show up and show off.
That point was put across by Nyakoi again. And
the chair of the Stingy Men Association.
You cannot speak for us. No, you cannot. We do not Why should I compete with Jane? Why should I compete with Wangari? Why? It's women, we love good things. We were created specifically to love. We love all the fine things that this world has to offer. And if you cannot be that, you cannot offer that, then you cannot say that we are competing with each other. No, that is an excuse for kusota. Say that. Yeah.
Wangari, do you agree with the same that Madame tunatumia Valentine's Day as a way of competing with each other, with the pressure we are giving our gents to show up for us on Valentine's? Okay,
let's be real, okay? If now you my girlfriends and you know I have this boyfriend, like, you know, I've been talking about him from January to December, and then it's Valentine's, and then this guy does not show up, does not give me anything. Obviously there'll be, you know, questions from you people like,
Allah,
so where is your boyfriend?
Where is your boyfriend?
So this pressure sometimes just, you know, it's just even unconscious, you know, because you have that expectation that this particular man should step up. So when he doesn't, it now becomes an issue. And now the men want to use peer pressure as a reason to justify why they didn't step up on Valentine's and make you or treat you in a special way.
And comes in the aspect of being treated in a special way. We had Byron say when it comes to representations of love on Valentine's Day, we ladies are mainstream. Tumezoea kuwapatia, as we had mentioned earlier, socks, watches, ties, and they're tired of that. So we need to evolve with our representations of love. And he mentioned that whole aspect of investing. What do you make of it? Let me start with you, Wangari.
That's not a problem. You know, the truth is, hata hizo socks na boxers tunanunua, pesa inakuanga yao. So if you still want us to upgrade, it still comes from you. It's still your money, so yeah. We don't have a problem with that.
I disagree with Wangari on that. It's my money. And I have a friend, he writes magazines, he writes articles, and he insists, and I will stand my ground on that. If you were to, you know, to gift your man, to spoil him, to make him feel special, you must find something that he likes. The way we expect for them to understand us, to read us like books, to just know what we want.
Our love languages.
Yes, we should also do the same. And there's many love languages. There's those ones who want gifts. There's those men who want, I don't know, many other things. So you must understand whatever would set his soul ablaze, and that is what you should give, not just on Valentine's, and repeat any other time. So socks, if he loves socks, yes, please give him socks. But if he does not like socks that much, find something that he likes.
Okay.
If it's service, if it's whatever,
Wangari, unasemaje kuhusu what Nambuya said?
Alafu, they're complaining about them wanting us to upgrade kikujani socks and, you know, those small things. And I'm like, oh, so who's going to buy you the socks? Okay, now if you want me to upgrade and start buying used cars, who is going to buy the socks?
They can't get socks for themselves. I think they can.
These people need to be helped to choose.
You're getting the wrong ones.
The wrong ones. They are the majority in Kenya.
Oh, no.
So another thing that was mentioned was issues sticking to your lane, which consequently intertwines with the issue, your pressure, and also the kind of gifts that you need to give. Because some might be like, me, I don't have that money to splurge. So, buy socks. I'm going to stick to my lane. And I buy range. So I'm going to stick to my lane. You as a woman, and I want to hear from each of you, aside from the traditional flowers, chocolate, dinner, the likes, what other forms of Valentine's treat would you recommend that, you know, generally mademu upenda?
Oh, I speak for women now.
Even using yourself as an example.
Okay, I would, God. That's a very tough question. I don't even know what I'd like, but there's flowers, there's dinners, there's vehicles. There's money.
In itself.
Yeah, you can just send me money and see what I do with it. There's, taking me to places I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
There's, if let's say I love books, I love reading. I'm a book enthusiast. You could take me to a library. I could see hard copies, original copies, paperbacks that were written maybe by whoever. If I love art, you could take me to an art gallery. You could buy me a whole 2 meters by 2 meters
bookshelf,
work of art or bookshelf. So you must, again, I insist, just understand your person. Whatever sets their soul ablaze, do that for them.
So you pressure watu unajiket unnecessarily.
What you had mentioned earlier about your where you can reach, as in, do not stretch yourself too much. If you can afford socks, mommy, buy socks. If you can afford the range, fine, but do not stretch beyond your limits. Do not. It's not worth it.
All right. Wangari, hii issue ya kujiekea pressure and consequently, you push yourself to an extent that makes you even hate this day in itself. Learning to stick to your lane and also speaking your partner's love language. Umuhimu yake, especially looking at Valentine's Day.
You know, actually, that's part where you have to push yourself extra hard. If you find yourself in that situation where you have to push yourself extra hard, you're in the wrong place. Because if it's the right person, he or she won't give you pressure to go overboard. You know, you will know that this person will appreciate the little or small things that you do.
Yes.
So pushing yourself, if you have to do that, please, again, run for your life.
If you have to push yourself, bro, you're with the wrong crew. Thank you so much, ladies. I have a flower for each of you, a rose. Pass this to Nambuye for me. Happy Valentine's. Kama utapewa kitu hii Valentine's, nimewapea roses.
Thank you.
Nimewapea roses. Hata mimi nimejigift hapa hivi.
The record.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being with us, for making time to join us for this conversation. Mr. Director, tunavuka kwa Ray, tusikie closing remarks. Aya, nasikia tunaambia tufunge sasa hivi, but let's have a quick look at the roads before we call it a program.
All right, and away from matters Valentine's and how people plan to celebrate that day, it is time for us to take a look at what is happening on our roads in terms of traffic. And right now I am along Waiyaki Way, one of those busy roads, at least for the next few months, given the fact that this road was closed or has been closed for a period of 7 months, beginning September of 2020, and that is expected to go all the way to April of 2021. What you're seeing right now on your screen is that ongoing construction process happening on this particular route, and this is that expressway. This road begins all the way from Mombasa Road on the sides along Lolongo area, coming all the way through and through past Waiyaki Way, heading all the way to James Gishuru Road. That is where the expressway will be terminating at. So beginning all the way from Lolongo, coming all the way to James Gishuru. Now, the closure of this road has obviously resulted to heavy traffic, and what motorists as well as car owners and public vehicles as well have been advised to use alternative routes. One of them is the one around St. Mark. So if at all someone is going all the way through to James Gishuru and even past Waiyaki Way, that is where they branch off and then connect to the other side of Waiyaki Way. So just as I mentioned, it is expected to continue. If at all you've seen the already ongoing process, especially along Mombasa Road, the work is still coming along well. This is part of the process, and part of what will be inclusive of this particular project will be the NMT, which is again the non-motorized transport system, and that is why you're seeing the closure in different parts along this route. So ultimately what that means is that this will be one of those roads, key important roads that we continue to keep track on until that process comes to a close, or until this year, which is 2021, when the 7 months will lapse, until when they will at least open up some bits of this route. Look at how traffic is being impacted as a result of this construction. Heavy traffic flow, especially as you leave Waiyaki Way, leaving all the estates around that particular route, the areas around Kikuyu, Kino, Uthiru, coming all the way to the city center, and also leaving the outskirts of Nairobi, given the fact that Waiyaki Way is one of those busy roads which just doesn't serve the residents or the people coming from those estates that I mentioned, but also coming from the outskirts of Nairobi. These are counties and the western part as well as Nyanza part of the country. They haven't quite put a specific date per se as to when this entire road will come to a complete, but what you are seeing as of now on major parts, especially along Mombasa Road as well as Waiyaki Way, and also just through Uhuru Highway, closure of some specific areas just to necessitate that construction process of the expressway. And the major reason as to why this will be happening, or the measures as to why this expressway is being constructed, is reduced on the traffic flow. And this is again especially along this particular route. So this is what is happening, at least as of now, when it comes to traffic on this route. And just as I mentioned, we'll continue to keep track and keep tabs on this road and see how all this process will be coming along. Ray.
Well, that is what is happening on Waiyaki Ways, just as our traffic marshal there has indicated. So if you are using that route, then you're bound to get to your work destination in good time. Now, we've had the women, give a rejoinder to what the men had said earlier, that the women are putting so much pressure on the menfolk, and the men want the women, and they use the other gender. I don't think, and the men aliens, I don't know when you say the other gender. No, as we walk towards the end of this program, we've put some things into perspective. Let's talk about now responsibilities within a relationship. And I would want to have you gentlemen respond to that. Do we do 50-50? 60-40? Or 90% to the man, since he's the head of the family? Who do I start with? Let's start off with the economist, Omondi.
All right. Regina, I think it's not a matter of the ratio, it's a matter of ability. It's a question of ability. I mean, what can you do? We cannot say we do 100-0 if the other person taking 100 is not in a position. But we say 50-50 if the lady cannot carry the 50. Mm-hmm. So my personal opinion is that it's the question of ability. What can you do?
Question of ability.
Yes.
Okay. What's your take, Nyakoi?
My take, I'm speaking here on behalf of SMAC, and my take here is 60-40. 60. As the head of the house, men, let's handle 60, let the ladies handle 40. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So 60-40. Now let me throw a spanner into the works. Now, since we've talked about the 60-40, and this has to do with the financial aspect of things, then are you willing also to pull your weight when it comes to domestic chores, raising the children on a 60-40%? Because as we all know, the nurturing, the taking care of the home has over the years been done by the women. Are the men ready now to also do the 60-40 on other, aspects of a relationship, of a home that we have over the years thought is, a preserve of the women? Omondi.
All right. Actually, I wanted to ask, when you were asking about the ratio, it was in which aspect was it?
It was on the financial aspect, responsibilities, financial responsibilities.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, on domestic responsibilities, there are different cultures that define different roles of, gender roles as far as relationship and marriage is concerned. So I think based on that, if you're from a culture where as a man, the general duties of a man, for example, being there for your family as the head of a family in a marriage, mentoring your children, being there as a father figure and everything else. And, as far as the relationship is concerned, as a man, you have duties to, to guide the relationship. So I think I'll not attach ratio to, to what a man should do, what a lady should do. It's also a question of culture. For example, we believe that where I come from, we believe that, for instance, if you have a bed and that the men should be sleeping towards the door as a sign of protecting the lady or whoever. You see, those kind of things. That was just an example of, quoting domestic roles here. So I think it's a question of culture.
So domestic roles, a question of culture, financial ability, question of ability.
Yes.
Who is capable than the other?
Yeah.
What is your take in as far as domestic roles are concerned, Nyakoi?
First of all, I would like to disagree with you when you say that most of the roles have been, nurturing a child has been a responsibility of a mother.
True.
Just for sake of nature that we cannot breastfeed, otherwise, I don't know.
We're not talking about breastfeeding.
That
I'm talking about,
yeah.
Let me give you a setup, just as Omondi has said. When a mother gives birth, there's the works that comes with childbirth.
Yes.
But you'll find most often when a baby has a fever,
when a baby has a fever, it is the mother who is going to stay up all night. Over 85% of the cases. That's when the baby is teething, she'll be the first person to know. When the baby gets a scrape, she'll be the first to know. When the baby is doing, you know, those milestones, the baby's walking, the baby's, you know, she's the one. That's what I was talking about. And there'll be times when she's going to the supermarket or the market. She has a baby on her back. Yes. She's the one doing the shopping. She's going to go prepare the meals. Where do the men come in this? If you're saying you want us to do the 60-40, or rather help the men in as far as finances, because I mean, this is a 21st century. You'll have a woman earning 250,000 and a man taking 70,000. Well, that is good. You want me to chip in? Pesa yangu iwe yetu.
Yes.
Unanisaidia vipi kwa malezi? That is it. That's where I was.
Actually, when you take a keen observation on the current and this current generation, if you go to malls, you'll find a man carrying a baby.
How many are they?
They do.
I want to see that.
They do.
I want to see that.
Like they do.
Damn. Where's your hood? I need to come over and check out that supermarket where men carry kids.
Men carry kids, men change diapers.
Oh my God.
We have even guys who don't live with their, you know, who have
they're
children
taking
out
up
of
their
wedlock.
responsibilities.
But you see, there are days that they spend
My
with the
directors
children.
are almost kicking you out of that group, but please continue.
So I think a question of responsibility, it has been now, we the men have taken up. You find men, you know, especially those who had children outside marriages, that these days that they have with their children, and then probably they have diapers that they change these children, you know. So I'm really trying to put it across that men have really taken up on the responsibility of the upbringing of the children, not as before when these things were designated entirely to women. In my case, when I was talking about, you know, doing 60-40, you know, as a man of the house, that I still feel entitled as an African. The responsibility of rentals, just in case we're staying in a rentals, paying a house rent, that is a duty of a man. But doing groceries, what are we eating today, that's the duty of a lady. So that's why when I say 60-40, I understand that with my level of education, I would go for a lady who is equally educated as myself. And this lady, I'll expect that she'll be bringing something on the table. Now, and the culture of pesa yangu ni yangu, pesa yako ni yetu, we are really doing away with that.
Ulisikia wapi?
Yes, ladies have been saying pesa yangu ni yangu, and then pesa yako ni yetu. So ideally, you'll find a lady using our entire salary on herself, the makeup, the dresses, the blah blah blah, and leaving the man with, you know, his salary to take care of the family and himself. That's why you find even men with 3 suits. You see.
But you said you don't want us to buy you clothes anymore.
That's why now we're saying we want to do 60-40 so that we also have some little budget to, you know, take care of ourselves.
Nyako, you know, they say when they see your girlfriend or your wife walking around looking all fine, that is your effort. You don't want to be credited with that effort. You just told the whole world that that's the effort of your own girlfriend and not yours. So what you do angare? Anyway, now we digress. Now talking about, you know, pressures, who does what, when. The issue of are we having candid conversations with our significant others about our expectations into the future? Are we sharing our dreams, our expectations? Are we, Omondi, are we having this conversation? And I'm looking at the, you know, the ones we consider the youth, you know, and for me, youth, that 18 is a child. They know, let's talk about 24 to 36 or 37. This age bracket, are we having these conversations, Omondi?
All right. You see, Rebecca, and we were just talking before we started this, and you told me you also did part of economics. And you know, as economists, we are very keen on the question of data. If I say now that we are having this conversation, you'd ask me from what data? All right. So what I can say is that there are youths who are very, you know, future-oriented, focused, want to build up success.
Want to use the word woke. They are woke.
Yeah,
In our
sure.
language, yeah,
All
they are
right,
woke.
all
They
right.
are woke.
Yeah, and are really having conversation of their futures. You see, there are quite a number of them. There are people who are also undecided yet. They don't know if they really want to be in what they are in currently, and therefore might not really focus on the future because they're still weighing up if they really want to go into the future with this particular person. Yeah, so there is also that group. But, you know, generally I can say that, you know, things are changing. You're seeing youths that are quite focused on, you know, their health. People going to the gym, going to hikes, you know. You realize majority of the youths right now, if they go to the supermarket, they really want to know the contents of whatever they're buying, what is the protein content, everything else. Yeah, so I think there is focus onto the future in a majority of the young people. Yeah.
Conscious lifestyles.
Yes.
The youth are actually moving towards that direction.
Yes.
Nyakoi,
Yeah.
what is the future of families into the next 10, 20 years?
When I look at
Are we still going to be existing as a family unit? You know, remember in the books that we read in English, we had Tom, Mary, Peter. You know, we had an ideal nuclear family setup.
Yeah.
What does the future hold?
I think when you look at the future, when you talk about the family, first, we've been reducing. My observation in Kenya, you find, when you ask even my youth, I mean not my youth, but my age mates, like what is the size of the family that you would like to have. And I think because of the hard economic times that we are going into, you can observe, you know, over time, when we see the expenses are, you know, getting overboard yearly, and when you look at the next decade, so I think the family size is really going down. That even you'd find a family, early couples, they will say we prefer 2 children or 3, and like, you know, myself, I come from a family of 6.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, when you look at now, we're walking into the future, people are
going to downsize in their family units. But also we've seen a rise in single parenting, both genders.
Yeah.
You know, what is your take on in that? We are seeing that, more of that. A dad who is bringing up their children without the mom, single, you know, single parenting.
Okay. I think there are several factors, you know, as far as that is concerned. You know, you can find a father, you know, single parenting because maybe the wife died, or maybe because the husband died. That's one of the factors. You know, there's divorce factor.
And I want to go there. Actually, that's the issue. We are having separation and divorce, especially, and experts are saying that this generation, the ones that we have been called the XY generation, that is not patient.
All right.
Just as we are not patient with our jobs, we get a job today, tomorrow we sit down, we want to change. That aspect of how our dynamic, you know, our dynamic views to the world is also now, there's a rise. I can do it alone. I mean,
I think what is lacking majorly is mentorship. And, you know, they're saying if you're doing something, who are you looking up to that have done that you want to do successfully? So I think with the mentorship and, you know, young people getting mentored as they get into the age of marriage, I think we'll start seeing the cases of divorcing and single parenting, you know, cutting down.
Well,
Nyakoi, what do you have to say to that?
Well, on my end, I think it is the influence from the Western. You understand this social media, you know, influence or peer pressure, if I may put it that way. You find even in our local setup, look at how we dress. It's so different. We're just now copying or emulating what the Western does. You see, Rihanna and Chris Brown, they've broken up.
And you want us to go back to wearing bananas?
You see,
banana fiber and skin.
Not really, but when you're talking about, you know, the parenthood, I'm saying because we are consuming so much of the Western, you know, their culture, and now this is what we're embracing. Kenya is very good at, you know, emulating and copying, and, you know, just copying, no matter how bad or good it is. When you look at our African setup, a lady will not have a child until she's married. And if she does so, then she would be married to an elderly person. maybe 10 years, 20, or even the age mate of the father. You see, but now we are normalizing that in Kenya. And you know, when you get a child at a younger age, you find when you get that relationship will not stand, because maybe you are trying waters. You know, this is how people end up. You know, with single parenthood. Yeah, because by the time you realize your taste, you're already
in a situationship.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, my friend, Nairobi. Let's talk about now Nairobi. You know, when I say Nairobi, not Nairobi, the place. Let's talk about the aspect of Nairobi. Tuna share, nisahani. Per person sharing. I mean, we are normalizing this. And even as we talk about it right now, people are comfortable saying, "Hini Nairobi."
Yeah.
What does the future portend if we continue down this road? Omondi, what are your thoughts about Nairobi?
All right. You know, if you ask me, Nairobi is just a capital city of Kenya.
No, we're not talking
we just
about
have, right, I'm coming there.
I'm talking about the Nairobi connotation.
Yeah, and I was coming there.
Yeah.
You see, people are hiding behind the Nairobi as a city of an individual habits. And if you ask me of, you know, what is likely to happen in the future, I'm not quite sure of the statistics. I don't know if it is 1 in 5 or 1 of 10 people are sick. It's not bad for people who are sick. Maybe there are people who are born that way. But if you get to that, you know, as a result of carelessness, you know, they say whatever you want to achieve, be healthy first, you know. And I think the future is it's not going to be very fair for young people if we continue on the line of Nairobi and embracing the fact that Nairobi is one big bedroom where, you know, people are just sleeping around. Yeah, so that's my take. I mean, you know, people should not get into that, you know, wave of Nairobi and Nairobi, and you know,
they need to express themselves. So Nyakoi, I'm going to give each one of you, Nyakoi and Omondi, to give 1 minute as we come to a close. You know, just to address where we fall in that category, the youth Sundays, Valentines. I mean, G-Express, as Jane likes to say. G-Express, nani anataka kuji-express? Nyakoi tuanze na wewe. Chairman was Stingy Men Association of Kenya. Hey, Chair, Homa Beast.
Yes, first of all, I would like to remind our members that we are having our meeting. Our meeting is still on, a SMAC meeting. Our chairman, national chairman, Mzee Kibor, called me this morning and it is confirmed that he will be hosting us in his farm. So stay tuned on that day. And then to our our gender who are not in you know, who are not in the association, this is now my word of advice. On Sunday, do your pocket. Don't go into loans. Avoid Fuliza. Leave alone Mshwari. If you cannot afford what she wants, my friend, your phone should be off on that day then. That's my take.
Kaboom! And on that note, you deserve a rose. Happy Valentine.
Thank you.
Hey. Do your pocket.
Yeah, do your pocket.
Akuna loans on Sunday.
No loans.
If you can't afford her, switch off your phone.
Switch off your phone, yeah.
I will not comment. Omondi, your take.
All right. So young people out there, I just mentioned about economics of love, and you know, on Sunday, people want to do different things. I mean, you know, as far as impacting others' lives is concerned, go out there and donate blood together, you know, get that blood donation certificate, you know. As far as health matters is concerned, go on a hike, you know, have fun. Yeah, and as far as, you know, future prospects are concerned, can you find a way to invest in each other on what can bring, you know, value, you know, out of each other, and definitely get your girl, you know, of some flowers. Yeah.
Oh, get your girl some flowers. I'm going with that one. Happy Valentine's, Mr. Omondi.
All right.
Yes, you've heard from the representatives here. Hapo, there was a heavy statement. Yeah. If you can't afford her, do your pocket. If you can't afford her, zima simu. Dear Lord, hallelujah. Well, no one has asked me what I would want for Valentine's, so I'll just keep it to myself. I'm Regina Manyara. Well, I don't know where I'll be up to, but please be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Jane.
Simu ikizibwa. Akiwasha tu atanipata tu bado hapo. Waiting. Monday iko mbali. But nonetheless, do you, man. Don't put on yourself unnecessary pressure, but don't use that as an excuse to not do anything for your significant other, regardless of the gender. Mschiu. My name is Jane Wambui. On behalf of the crew here, I had the two beautiful ladies, Wangari Washure and Nambuya Nana. Nambuya is a student leader at the Technical University of Kenya, and Wangari is an actress. Thank you so much, ladies. Gentlemen, yes, pressure. Tupatane tena next week. I'm Jane Wambui. Have a lovely weekend.